Today we're going to learn about chromatography. In chromatography, where we need to learn about three factors: the procedure of chromatography, RF value calculations using chromatography, and the label diagram of chromatography. Let's move on further. Let's get an idea about what is chromatography. Chromatography is a process where three things are occurred: purification, identification, and separation. In order, they are separation, purification, and identification. Those three are basically what chromatography is meant to be. Chromatography basically involves a beaker, a chromatogram, a solvent, a dropper, and a lid. Also, a ruler to calculate the distances. So this is what I talked about. There's a lid over the beaker, and inside the beaker you get the solvent, you get the chromatogram, which is known as a chromatography paper, and you find the drop placed in the baseline. And after you do the chromatography paper, the chromatography process, in the chromatography paper, you could witness the drops are separated. Then what you need to do is purify them and identify them using RF value calculations. I'll make you more clear as we move on further. So the important things in chromatography is that the drop must be kept with a glass rod or a dropper, as it is the best equipment to use to keep a drop. The start line or the baseline should be drawn in pencil. The start line or the baseline should be drawn in pencil. It is not drawn in ink because it gets dissolved in the solvent. It is not drawn in ink because it gets dissolved in solvent. The apparatus must be closed as it is needed to prevent evaporation of the solvent. It is needed to prevent the evaporation of the solvent. Therefore, the apparatus must be closed using a lid. Therefore, the apparatus must be closed using a lid. When the distance is calculated, distance traveled by the solvent is the distance between the baseline and the solvent front. The distance between the substance and the baseline should be taken to the middle of the substance or the spot, not at the top of the spot or at the beginning of the spot. If the spots are not visible, make sure to spray a locating agent in a fume cupboard. Example, ninhydrin, which is used to make amino acid colorless spots purple in color. The substance must be soluble in the solvent, or else separation won't occur and you won't witness any of the different types of substances present in that ink or the spot you just dropped. Then RF value calculation. This is the most interesting part of the chromatography. The RF value is the distance traveled by the substance and the distance divided by the distance traveled by the solvent. So RF values are referred with the RF value table and the substance is identified. Okay, so that's how you identify of which substances are these. Is this ink or the drop you just kept on the baseline is made up of. So that is the process of chromatography. And to give you a clear idea, I've got pictures of them. So this is basically a normal chromatography where you have the strip of filter paper or even the chromatography paper, a line drawn in pencil, the spot of ink. Then you keep the glass rod as the lid and paper clips to hold the chromatography paper, the jar or the beaker and the chromatography paper, and the spot of ink kept by the dropper or the glass rod, and the solvent, which is universally known as universal solvent, which is water, where most of the substances are soluble. Then another clear example of chromatography is this one. So this is simple chromatography and paper chromatography. See, in simple chromatography, it's just that it is not that much advanced, but in the paper chromatography, all what I said at the important factor section is included in the paper chromatography. In the paper chromatography, you could witness a place where the solvent front is. That solvent front is the place where the solvent reaches its maximum. And make sure as you see the solvent front reach the top of it, draw a pencil line in the solvent front or in the position of the solvent front. Take the solvent front, take the chromatography paper, dry the chromatography paper in an oven or on a filter paper, and then you've got to spray a locating agent if the spots aren't colored and calculate its RF value to identify the substances present in the drop you just kept on the baseline. So that's it, my friend, for today. So thanks for watching, and I think that you got a clear idea of what is chromatography, and that's the end of our video. And make sure to like, share and subscribe my video. So thanks for watching once again.